Hey guys, it's your girl Alicia, aka Geek X Chic, and I'm back with another reaction to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. We are in episode 3. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep them with numbers because there isn't actual seasons, I realize, even though when you look it up online, they actually do break it into seasons 1 and 2, but I'm just gonna go with episode numbers. This is episode number 3, and it is called The City of Heresy. So the last 2 episodes were really great. They were really nice introductions to, again, the world that we're dealing with, understanding what alchemists are and what they do. And last episode in particular, we really got the backstory on the Ulrich brothers and what happened to cause Ed to lose 2 of his limbs, and why Al's body is nowhere to be found, and again, why it's so important for the boys to get their hands on the Philosopher's Stone. So yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting at this episode, as we've got Ed and Al on the road to this city. I think we're going to be back into present day. Last episode was all about the flashbacks, but now I think we're moving forward with where we're going in this plot with these 2. So I'm looking forward to this episode, and I'm going to chat about it afterwards. So without further ado, let's boop.
Let's go.
Aww.
Hey, easy. I didn't mean nothing by it.
Wow, Al.
Accident. We'll fix it. How's that? It smashed the hell. Watch and learn, Gramps.
Show off.
It's a miracle.
Is it?
Just like Father Cornell.
Did they not know about alchemy?
Maybe you heard of us.
Wow. This is a small town.
Fullmetal Alchemist, Edward Ulrich, is that right?
Wow, where it's spread. Look at Ed go. They're gonna think it's his brother. I knew it. Little man problems. So he's an alchemist. Shade. Shady.
If you believed, surely no one bless you and make you go.
Wow. This is no shade at all towards the religiously devout.
Ammonia 4 liters, lime 1.5 kilograms.
I remember this recipe. It raised the devil.
250 grams, saltpeter 100.
She's like, oh, I did not study my periodic table, sir.
You have to understand, alchemists are scientists. We don't believe in unprovable concepts like creators or gods.
It's actually not true, but
Physical laws that govern this world.
Of course, that's wonderful. If anyone can lead you to the creator's light, he can.
wow, that girl drank every last drop of the Kool-Aid.
Said, let's make this.
How about a full metal fist, jerk?
Now, child, I want you to shoot the Fullmetal Alchemist.
No,
You can go ahead, it's just a suit of armor.
I am the Sun God's chosen emissary. My word is the word of Leto.
And that's why I make children do murder for me. He's like, I'm not even the full metal alchemist. Aim at the right kid. I love how it takes everybody out of it so much. How dare you scream?
Leto is pleased you have done well, my child. Now pick up the gun and shoot the other as well.
Right? Like, okay. Yeah.
An empty suit of armor that walks and speaks?
Yep.
You still doubt it, Rose? This unholy thing is an abomination.
Oh!
This kind must be
So that's an abomination, but not what you're doing. Okay.
I guess those claws don't do so good against steel.
That's Winry Steel, yo.
A good taste.
I'm gonna break some teeth. Cornelo.
In their arrogance, they try to bring someone dead back to life.
Oh, isn't that what you just said you could do?
Son.
If you fools are really so eager to play God, then perhaps I should send you to beat him instead.
Okay, that is a hell of a transmute.
Go quietly. We don't want to have to rub you up.
I'm really not about all those rubs. Sure. Right?
that's because
Cause what? Give me a good reason. I'm waiting.
what there is true, isn't it?
The cost of my brother's left leg. and trust me.
Can you not do that? It's creepy.
Because with each miracle, I can attract new believers to the Order. Believers who would lay down their lives for my sake. I'm slowly building an army, a legion of holy warriors, unafraid to die. In a few more
It's like, not impressed. Next, fast forward.
You really are a novice, aren't you?
Played.
I am without rival.
You're gonna need to get a hold of that ring, son. Ooh.
It's a rebound.
No, I won't be disgraced like this.
You sure? Is he transmuting himself? Oh, Hulk smash! Okay, I did not know you could transmute yourself. That's amazing. The sun god disapproves.
So, what about me?
Oh, what about you? I got something for you.
I want you to just get out of here.
I would have made him suffer a little bit.
What am I supposed to believe in now?
I don't know.
Tell me what to do.
Truth? Maybe get a mind of your own, my lord.
Yes, all that hard work for nothing.
Ooh!
We should have just incited a little rebellion.
Uh-oh, she brought gluttony.
Everyone has mocked me. I won't stand for.
Ooh, you forgot who you were messing with, son?
This concludes our business.
Once there, the brothers are taken to the home of the sewing life alchemist, Shao Tucker, and his young daughter, Nina. Where
Oh.
They hope to learn more about the field of bioalchemy.
Alright, stuff to look forward to, but not really, because I know what happens. Well, that was episode 3, which was called The City of Heresy, and wow, really good episode. They covered a lot in a very short amount of time. It's a very deep episode when you think about it. It talks about a very heavy topic. One that a lot of people avoid like the plague, that of religion. And I'm not going to get too deeply into it because it's a very controversial topic for a lot of people. I personally am a religious person, but you know, for those who believe what they believe, that's definitely up to them. But they did talk about some of the bigger things that people have issues with where religion is concerned, especially when there is science involved. There's some that believe that science and religion can't coexist. There's also the belief system that religion is used to manipulate people, and in some cases it is. It definitely gave what I would say was definitely more a atheistic lean to this particular viewpoint of religion. I mean, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but we got the impression, at the very least, that Ed is an atheist at this point, and we don't know if he was ever religious, to be perfectly honest. And of course, since he's very much still grieving his mother, grieving the loss of his brother's body and his own body, I think it's fair to say that he's potentially coming from a place of being potentially angry. If there is a God, then why did this happen, right? A lot of people ask that question if bad things have happened to them. But again, it just kind of touches on how, unfortunately, some have used the idea of belief. This particular man used this poor woman Rose's grief about her lost loved one to manipulate her into being just completely blind to, well, she's probably seen a lot of shady stuff before this, but she just was willing to turn a blind eye because she was so dedicated to the idea that her loved one was going to be brought back. But overall, there was just this idea of, you know, science versus religion. You know, is God something you can't believe in if you believe in science? And I personally don't think that those two negate each other. But some would argue that, and clearly Ed is on the side of thinking that you can't have one with the other. But beyond all of that, we got the exposure to another Philosopher's Stone that's not a real one. We saw in both cases, first with the water transmuter in episode 1, and now with this man, that first of all, it's just a tiny little amount that they had, but it wasn't a real Philosopher's Stone because apparently the real thing can't be easily destroyed. And it was destroyed when Ed literally brought down a statue almost on that arrogant jerk, and it just kind of fell apart. So he realized, unfortunately, that what that was not a Philosopher's Stone, but I'm surprised that at this point he still hasn't figured out that whatever it is, it's still hella powerful. I mean, that man was doing some form of transmutation from having little to no exchangeable matter to create what he's creating. So I'm hoping by the next episode, or maybe episode 5, we're going to see Ed start to put together that something is happening. Like, what are these stones if they're not Philosopher's Stones, and how are these people getting them, right? There's got to be some sort of a tie. But since this is only his second encounter, pardon me, at this point, we can let that go. It was great to also hear the story of what happened to the two brothers coming from Al's point of view. We've very much seen everything from Ed's point of view initially, but seeing Al, who in the old version, I remember Al was kind of the more quiet and reserved one out of the two, and I think it's still kind of continuing into this one. But I'm hoping that this version of the anime is going to allow for Al to be a little bit more expressive. I don't know if in the original manga he ever was more kind of involved, but I think it's important that he is, because he really did get the rawest part of this whole deal. I mean, yeah, walking around as a suit of armor was probably cool for about the first couple of days, but you know, we saw it in the first episode when he saw his brother and the family eating this delicious food, and we saw in episode 2 that Al was the food lover. He was the foodie in the family, and little things that we take for granted, like the enjoyment of food, he can't have that anymore. You know, the possibility of him ever being an adult or being viewed as an adult probably goes away, because we don't know if this, you know, his consciousness ages, you know, in this body. Not to mention also, you know, if it came to a thing where it was a lifelong thing, you know, would Al ever be able to have a relationship? So I really do hope. It was kind of, like I said, it was cool to hear Al talk about what happened and also bring out like the motivation and showing that, you know, he really drawing the parallel between his and Al, sort of his and Edward's story with Rose's story, right? Because Rose obviously was very defensive about the two of them as a result of, you know, all the stuff they came in with their, you know, basically religion sucks. They came in really hard with that. Well, Ed really came in hard with that, but Al kind of came in with a softer approach of, look, you know, we have two different viewpoints on the same thing. We both missed a loved one. We both were willing to do whatever it took to get them back. In your case, you shot my metal head off. In our case, we attempted something that everyone says you're not supposed to do. And in both cases, we were wrong. And again, the reinforcement that was brought out by Ed over and over again was, you can't bring the dead back. Like, we can't do it. There's no way that we can do it. We just have to accept that that isn't something that we're capable of doing. A really interesting moment at the end there with her being very upset, saying, oh, this is, I built my life around this hope. Now what do I do? And then that moment where Ed kind of stopped being a little bit of a jerk about his beliefs and really just stopped and just was a human about it and was like, you know, you got to put one foot in front of the other, and you got to find your own path, and you have to figure out where you're going, because you are still here, and that's what's important, kind of thing. So really cool. I think they dealt with, you know, obviously, as I said, it leaned to one belief system, or at least they dealt with a very touchy subject. I do hope maybe later on we'll see maybe a different viewpoint, or at least for mutual respect to be shown, even if you do have differing beliefs. So really good episode. I liked it. It was really well done as far as, again, the animation scenes were on point. The strength that we see, you know, Ed displaying over and over again is really, really cool. And again, I just like that we're taking little steps forward in the plot. At the end, we saw gluttony and lust. I think I said she was envy in the first episode and I was wrong. I think she's lust. We saw the two of them again. I know who they are because, of course, I watched the older version, but obviously this would be the second time we've been introduced to them in the comic, but their names have not been dropped. But again, the biggest thing that we've been shown is that in both cases, in episode 1 and in this episode, Lust knew who these people were, and clearly she is, you know, the source of whatever these stones are. So I'm very excited to get on the journey to figuring out how these stones are coming to be and how they're getting to the hands of these people, because it's a really fun story to be told. So thanks for watching this one along with me, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that below, please share them with me. As far as the stuff that you leave, I've been loving the stuff that you put below my videos. I've been asked about how I feel about spoilers and things like that. I'm really not that precious about it. Like, if you want to talk about something that's going to come in an upcoming episode, or if there's anything that I missed that I should have seen or that would really help me to understand the show more, please feel free to let me know. I'm honestly not that bothered. Obviously, maybe don't tell me massive plot points, because it's kind of cool to discover that firsthand or see how they handle it firsthand, but I'm totally fine with all the help and information you want to provide, because I love sharing this experience with you guys. So on that note, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next time.